I've been playing with lately? Divination. Divination. Yes, yes. Basically, it's utilizing certain physical aspects like tarot cards, pendants, to make decisions for you, like dice, stuff like that, to utilize the randomness to create direction and guidance.
It's funny. I used to do that all the time with just a quarter.
Oh, well, you can do that with anything, to be honest with you. And in actuality, I utilized some Egyptian cards yesterday as a form of tarot deck. Yes, they're like, I'll show it to you when I get a chance. They're like Egyptian historic cards that it shows you a artifact on the front, and then behind it, it gives you the story, the time frame, the dynastic period, so on and so forth. Peace, peace, peace. Divine Black Family, 6 to 22 strands, 7 to 9 ether, U melon and selenium base. Black gods of this planet. We out here. Doomsday, no fear. You know. No matter what. Pretty from the east. Peace, peace. Kid Maven, peace, peace. Yeah, y'all. So let me touch base with y'all. I'm out and about with the humans. It's a beautiful day. Shoe is blowing on me. Rise shining on me. I gotta be thankful and grateful thankful forever and always, always and forever. So I said, let me touch the people. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to jump on this and start grilling me. Don't be afraid to do what they call that, the request thing or whatever it is. Press that button and get up on here and ask me some questions or something. Let's really interact. Let's really resonate. You know? Start doing what?
Having those face-to-face interactions, man.
Why don't I start doing that?
When did you?
When did I start doing that? What do you mean?
Well, I know there are a couple of a lot of people that do this.
Oh no, because I know that you can do that, and I'm not gonna lie. Previously, you know me, I'm like, oh man, I don't really recognize the abilities of technology sometimes. So I did realize that when I would go on other people's lives, like it would tell you, hey, would you like to split screen? Like it tells you that. So that's why I'm just kind of like, you know, putting the offer out there, you know. Peace, peace, family, peace. What's going on this ride day, Sunday? Talk to me, family. Talk to me, family. I can't press on y'all waves. I'm holding the phone in my hand, and of course, I always got my sword in my other hand. So, you know, don't think I'm ignoring you if I'm not pressing your waves. Oh shit! I ain't see this dude in a while. What's going on, law student? We was caves. What's going on, brother? Yes, sir. Peace, brothers. Peace, brothers. See, that's strength right there. Neither one of them got a mask on. They speaking that old school. Oh, damn, this one lady got some abundance right there. Talk to me, family. Talk to me, family. Maybe we should just start talking. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, but we were supposed to do that as a YouTube video. But
What?
That
I mean, I can put this on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Started, man. You mentioned to me when I sent you that there was a post I got from somebody in regards to a tribe, an African tribe, or excuse me, they're not African tribes. They were where were they from? They were New Guinean. There we go. They were New Guinean from which is in Australia. These people who practice homosexuality as part of their culture. And I remember I sent it to you, and we had that discussion where you was actually explaining that them being in different parts of the world actually affects them.
Oh, I know what you're going to.
I asked you, we should probably do a video about that because I'm actually ignorant to that. I didn't actually take that into consideration, but I'd like for you to elaborate more.
Well, as we should already know, different parts of the region of the planet have different concentrations of energy. Each concentration of energy in electromagnetic field affects your brain waves. When they affect your brain waves, they affect the neurological responses between the cells in your brain, which affects the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you react. No different from than if you have a mother who's on a specific type of diet and within a stressful environment, within the second trimester of that child's development, can actually create an imbalanced brain of that child that believes that it's a female in a male's body, so on and so on. What we got today, so it's pretty much the same concept. It's just based on a geographical perspective. It's just like if you pay attention to the majority of advanced civilizations and the greatest empires in world history, they're always located within specific places that, if yes, well, not just closer to the equator, but if you check the electric magnetic fields of the regions that these civilizations develop in, you'll find out that the frequency is much higher in those areas than other areas. We can apply that to anything. Like right now, we're in Brooklyn, and we already know Brooklyn is a different energy. Brooklyn is a different energy, but why is that? You see what I'm saying? It's because of the concentration of the beings within this area, or the concentration within the mental capacity combined with the region of what we call New York City, which technically, no, Manhattan's an island. New York's not an island, right? No, New York. Oh, I'm talking about the land itself, because Manhattan is an island. But what I'm basically saying is, everything in existence on this physical plane matters and accumulates to the changes of that physical object, being, or organic structure. So if I place a plant on a different side of your house that doesn't receive as much sunlight, that doesn't receive as much human activity, that doesn't receive as much noise, and so on and so forth, that plant will grow different than the same exact type of plant on the other side of the house that is in the family room, and that's in the sun family room, and that people are talking around it and laughing around it and playing music around it. So every single thing that we can think of conducts a frequency which affects any organic structure, which affects anything that is living or on that organic structure. Not to mention, we also have to remember that every time we're walking, we're literally walking on top of quartz crystals. We're walking on top of numerous minerals. Remember, a mineral is a form of metal. Just like you have calcium, just like you have potassium, all these different things are forms of metals. That's a form of conductivity. So when you have something that's conductive, you have something that actually has the ability to transfer and store energy much better than something else. So if I'm standing, let's say I have gold shoes on, but then you have copper shoes on. Both of us are wearing different conductions of energy based on the metal. So if we walk across an electrical field, my shoes might emit a better power or energy than yours. Yours might absorb more, but emit less. So after we walk across that electrical field or that vibrational field with a specific energy, you still have a ton of power in your shoes. But I have the ability to exhaust that power by jumping super high. But then if we measure the energy at the end of walking across that field, you still holding it. So one metal might harbor it longer, which is conductive, and one metal might emit it better. And as we know, gold is an emission. It's a fierce. That's why gold is masculine. You see what I'm saying? Silver is feminine. You know. So yes. So in conclusion, when you are in certain regions, just like the thing I did on the Hunza tribe. I don't know if you remember. I just recently brought it up for the young child that was going back and forth with the whole vegan religion. But if you look at the Hunza tribe, they literally live in a higher form of elevation of the planet. And then when you look at monks, they live on top of mountains. What is a mountain in itself? It's a concentration of minerals. It's a concentration of minerals stacked up and accumulated in one area in one place. Depending on the minerals that are concentrated is what's going to dictate the energy that's emitted. So if I have a concentration of calcium compared to a concentration of potassium, those are different emissions of energy and frequency. And they're gonna dictate a different result from that organic structure. You see? So if matter of fact, this is what I love. So I love talking to intelligent people. Now you're gonna bring me to a whole nother level. We see a lot of times in ancient depictions how we see pharaohs with gold armbands, gold wristbands, like they're literally draped in gold. And we believe that being draped in gold was some type of egotistical, some egotistical aesthetic / projection of royalty only. But I'm gonna find the material so I can relay this. But in actuality, the further back you go, as we already know my teachings, the further back you go, the more divine you are, because you went from a fallen state. You went from a high state to a fallen state. So when you study the oldest pharaohs from pre-dynastic times and from the Old Kingdom, technically, remember, they were referred to as God in flesh. They were referred to as an actual deity in human form. And a lot of times, for a deity to remain inside the body, it has to be draped in gold, because the gold itself actually harnesses the energy that would destroy the body. It's no different than wearing a spacesuit to go out into space. So the only reason you're surviving in space is because you have a suit on.
Right.
The only reason why they can crack, and I forget the name of that barrier, so I'm not going to waste time trying to remember it, but there's a specific barrier that a lot of flat earthers and all these fools, and I don't even want to bring up the subject, but they're like, well, nobody can escape this, nobody can. No, you can escape that if you are melanated, because what they do is they spray the actual ships, they spray the devices and things that they want to send out there in a melanin content. Of course, they call it different things based on a chemical basis, but it's all based on melanin structure. You see what I'm saying? So if I drape you, it's just no different from putting a wetsuit on to go deep sea diving. You know, if you do not put a wetsuit on to go deep sea dive, the pressure of the water itself will damage your body. You see, so if you put it in a perspective as, let's say, I am a high-powered deity that is incarnated in physical flesh. If I do not drape that physical flesh in gold, which is an emitting substance, which allows the emission of my energy to fly out of the body instead of being concentrated in the body until it explodes or until it breaks apart or damages itself, then I can't live inside the physical body. So a lot of times when you see these pharaohs and these certain kings and they're so draped in so much gold, they have gold collars, they have gold bands, gold wrists, gold anklets, like they have gold over every part of their body. Not to mention, here's the next connection, every single part of your body is a different perspective or a different center of energy channel. Because your wrists, your arms, you know, why do you think they put their fingers to your wrist to check your pulse? Why do you think they put their fingers to your neck to check your pulse? Then combined with that, you already know the endocrine system, which they refer to as the chakra system, is actually related to jewelry in itself. What's a navel ring? That's the sacral chakra. What's the choker? That's the throat chakra. What's the necklace? That's the solar plex. You see what I'm saying? What's the crown? That's the pineal gland. So all of these different jewels were aligned with the chakra system in order to concentrate the energy or contain the energy depending on how powerful you are. So if you're extremely powerful, it's very hard to live inside a human body. So in order to protect the human body and contain and maintain the human form, you have to drape yourself in specific type of crystals or specific type of metals so that energy could be transformed or conducted a specific way to main. It's a form of protection for the physical vessel. Absolutely.
Almost similar to like I'm gonna use something like a boiler or a boiler room, because in my line of business, a boiler room has to have like a metal door, but it also has to have ventilation to allow the heat to come out.
Yes, ventilation.
If it continues
Excellent
to work
point.
and it doesn't get the ventilation, it'll literally overheat and damage itself.
Not to mention, to add on to that, there's specific devices that don't work unless you're specifically using copper. If you try to use any other metal material, it won't work. Just like there's specific devices like, you know, I'm so old school, but well, let's use modern crap. Even our phones, our iPads, our iPhones, what are they filled with? They're filled with cobalt. See, if you try to use something else other than cobalt, it'll be insufficient. You see what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of Jews and Chinese, they run refurbished businesses, because they can take these devices and they actually strip them of their precious metals. Because there's diamonds, gold, silver, cobalt, titanium, all these different metals within specific type of electronic devices that allow them to work efficiently. And that's why they're placed in there for that reason. Now, I guess y'all all must be busy today, but that's all right. It's about time I get a video to put on my YouTube. Place this on. So yeah, that was an excellent question. I like that. I like that divine inquiries there.
So it's
very important.
Like I said, I had to make the effort to start jotting stuff down. I'm not gonna lie, some of the stuff comes to my head, and I just don't. You know, I tell myself I remember it, getting a well-cooked meal that someone has put their attention and their
There you go. I was waiting for that word.
So that once you eat it, it's like, I can
We're
almost taste
we're
the love.
talking the combination of intention and alchemy, and this is why we love our mother's cooking more than anybody else's. And it's funny because you can eat somebody other's mother's cooking and not like it.
Right.
And you'll be like, what the fuck, this bitch can't cook? What is he talking about? But he's grown up on that cooking, and that cooking was served with a form of love and intention. And, let's just be honest, a lot of women can't cook, but they put so much love and intention into what they're preparing for their loved one, their child, their husband, whoever the case may be, that it actually does taste good based on how much intentions and how much genuine love was put into that food. And that's another reason why so-called, for lack of a better word, prayer over your food can actually affect the frequency of your food. So it is actually important to say some type of incantation or think some type of incantation over your plate before you eat. But once again, this goes into something that I've talked about numerous times, understanding that food is nothing but offering, ceremony, and ritual. Okay? The ritual itself is the cooking in itself. The fire, the flame, the water boiling, the seasons being added, which are nothing but herbs and earth. Because now we're talking about all the elements. Fire, water, earth, air. You know what I'm saying? That's the ritual in itself. You see, the ceremony is the presentation of the food, putting it on a specific type of plate, adding a garnish to it, giving it a specific symbol and look, and then presenting it to one. The offering is actually consuming the food and who you're presenting it to. So when we start thinking of food on this level, instead of the level of only purely nutrition and only purely bad or good, we actually add a divine state to the food as we consume it and become divine ourselves. So it becomes an offering to us as deities in ourselves. So now we take away all the things that make us in fear of food and instead make food something that is not to be consumed on a daily, 3 times, 4 times a day basis, but that's to be consumed during celebration and during offering of yourself and appreciation as your own deity. Everything is about perspective because your perspective changes the meaning and the frequency and power of all things in existence. How you look at a circumstance in a situation changes the traumatic experience from a euphoric experience. There's a man right now as we speak who's paying a dominatrix to whip his ass until he's bleeding. That's a euphoric experience for him. And then there's a child somewhere right now getting their ass whipped for doing the wrong thing. That's a traumatic experience for them. But based on the way that that person has chosen to look at it from the perspective that they choose for themselves has changed the energy, the meaning, making it either a traumatizing event or a memorable euphoric event. And how you choose to hold that experience, how you choose to hold that event inside yourself as a water being, as a light being, as a being of all elements who is a conductor himself, and begin to harbor that energy, that emotion, that so-called traumatizing experience, then you begin to project that amongst the world. And every situation and every relationship you come across becomes traumatic to you. Oh, why do people always hurt me? Why am I always being hurt? Why am I always abandoned? Why are you always looking at it that way? You see, I'm always being utilized, but I understand that I've already accepted my purpose as a tool. So I don't look at it as another man might do. Oh, people are always using me. Well, if you can't be used, then you're useless. So once you start thinking about things in a different perspective, you can actually change the energy for yourself and make it beneficial for yourself to where you create a completely different world around yourself that people can't understand and can't penetrate.
And not to mention that everything on this planet has designed and as a result a purpose and function. So technically everything has a use, and if it's not being used, then it becomes obsolete regardless.
Yes.
Therefore, it really should not exist. There's nothing in existence that has no use.
Now you're actually going into another level of does it exist without observation? Which a lot of scientists within quantum physics like to talk about all the time. Does something actually exist without the observer? And can you change the structure of something by observing it? Now you're getting into quantum physics, which is so funny because when we deal with the recessive, they like to dismiss certain things that we call metaphysical, but then they call it quantum physics. And that's what metaphysics is, things that you can't see that are so minute to your own perception, but that still exists within a reality that you can't conceive. And because they still exist with a specific function, they still have a result amongst your own reality yourself. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. And it's funny because when we look at, you know, the European and the recessive likes to go, well, there was no writing system, so they were primitive. But the same place they say there was no writing system, they had huge monolithic architectural structures that were so precise, they don't understand how they made them. So if there was no writing, if there was no mathematics, how did they create a structure and architecture that you can't even recreate today? You see what I'm saying? Because they keep looking from only one angle and not the other angles that exist for that. Wow, look at this Ashkenazi boy. He got a huge joint on it. All right, now Ashkenazi. Kazaria. I ain't mad at you, man. Ah, okay. All right. I'm sure he's got somewhere to be to give more orders to rule the world. But yes, the blessing is the mind. That's right. That's true. That's definitely true. Tell you one thing, I gotta respect the commitment to traditionalism when it comes to these Khazarians. Gotta respect that. There must be something going on there. Me neither. I've seen it, but not in that exaggeration. Uh huh. So much style. Gotta respect it though. I respect it, bro. And notice, not a single one mask. Notice that? None of them are wearing masks ever. Not a single one. Does anybody notice how the Khazarian wears no mask ever? Anybody notice that? Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, it must be a special Khazarian day. Look, like no man, none of them, not one. Old, young, doesn't even matter. I respect that shit. I respect because they know they run the fucking world. They know nobody's gonna bother them. They know nobody's gonna stop them. They know nobody's gonna say anything to them. Nobody would dare say anything to a Jew for not wearing a mask. I dare anybody to say something to a Jew for not wearing a mask. They know this shit already. They know they run the fucking world. I respect that shit, man. I respect that shit a lot. Makes me want to be a fucking Jew. I respect that shit, man, because they run their own world. And the crazy thing is they run their own world inside of yours. That's the beauty about it. They can walk through the most ghettoist, rundown neighborhood and know for a fact that they'll never be touched. That's power, man. We gotta recognize it for what it is. Stop pretending. While we all walking around like sheep, covering our faces. What kind of dumb shit is that? All these motherfucking Negroes is covering their faces, but I just watched a whole bunch of Khazarian Ashkenazis. Not one of them got a damn mask on. Not one. Not the kids, not the elders, nobody. They know damn well they control this shit. And I respect that. Well, as we look, we can already see the language of flames on the building, so yes. You can't see all the Hebrew everywhere? That's what it is. Look at the letters. They don't look like flames to you? Look at them. There's always a flame at the top of the letter. It's the language of fire. Peace, family. Talk to me. Let me know something. Split screen me. Talk some shit. Tell me how wrong I am. Something, something. It's a beautiful day. We in Khazarian land. Black men walking around, maskless, breaking the rules. Oh, I mean, yeah, thankful and grateful and thankful, forever and always, always and forever. Absolutely, absolutely. You know the beautiful thing too, I love about the Khazarian is they're not gaudy. They don't try to impress. They're not like they're not trying to. They don't need platinum rims. You know what I mean? They don't need Gucci shoes. And they're rich as shit. They can afford all of that if they want to, but they just don't need it whatsoever. They don't embrace it whatsoever. So it's quite beautiful. They actually just concentrate their power and wealth over and over and over for generation to generation and build communities everywhere. Evolution rewards the most powerful creatures. Okay, okay. Yeah, look. And he has the dirt on too. Yes, the Ashkenazi, who is aware of his power, who is aware of his prestige, who is aware he owns the world. Say what? Absolutely, because they keep a specific type of um, genetic marking. They want to solidify it. They want to keep it the way it is. How you doing, sir? All right. They want to keep it the way it is, and I respect that. I respect that strongly. You know what I also love? It's like people look at me like they already know what I am. Okay. I would call the cops, but it doesn't seem like a regular nigger. Okay, we are really in Ashkenazi land. All right. Okay. You notice how pale they are? It's like they don't even have shades. Like white people have like pink. White people have like pink and blush and red. They're like all pale straight through. I really respect that though, man. No, they do. They do. They definitely do. Like all of them are test tube people. They don't wear it for religious reasons. But hold up. Wait. Somebody said they don't wear it for religious reasons. But here's the thing about it. If they don't wear it for religious reasons, why were people being kicked out of their church for their religious praise because of COVID? Think about that. Churches were closed down. So if your religion is keeping you from following the rules, why would they allow churches to be closed down, or why would they enforce pastors to get arrested who were holding congregation because of their religion? So you're actually just mentioning another form of privilege that they have over other people. Because if I, as a Christian, say, well, you know what? I have faith in my God Jesus, so I'm going to go to church today. Matter of fact, I have faith in my God Jesus, so I'm not going to wear a mask today. We're not allowed to do that, but they can. So, And by the way, can you mention that religious reason? Because I don't know what that is. Would you happen to have any? What religious reason would that be? What religious reason would that be to not wear a mask during a pandemic? What religious excuse would that be? Like, I've never read in the Torah or read in anything of that knowledge that you're not allowed to cover your face. It's all Abrahamic. I just asked them because I've never heard that one. I don't know of any religion that says about not covering your face. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty precise with religious beliefs. You know. Here's another funny thing is, shouldn't there be a rise in COVID in Jews because they don't believe in covering their faces or following the rules? Shouldn't there be a pandemic spike in the Jewish people because they refuse to follow the rules by their religious belief? That just lets you know how fake the shit is. Because if covering your face really did anything, then not covering your face would higher your risk and would make you more susceptible to the virus. But yes, we are in Khazarian land and nobody's wearing a mask. How far are we going in here? you know how to Do you know how to get out? Holy shit. I think we might have to convert.
Oh, and here I thought we was in Jewtown. Now I feel like I'm in the hood again.
Oh, well, you know that's not a Jew.
It just seemed like they were all over the place for like a good 5 minutes while we were walking out.
Oh, they still are, but remember, they own the neighborhoods most of the time. They don't always have to live there. One thing I like about Jews is they just care about ownership. They really don't care where you live. And, y'all gotta respect because they really don't bother nobody. They really don't. Like, I've never seen a Jewish Karen. Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I watched a whole 10-minute video of those little things, and I'm not gonna lie, I was in tears when I saw this one. They called her the mother of all Karens, and that it was just a very accurate term. I have
I'm about to make this a big thing. Why are Jews not following the rules? This is not cool. Why are the rest of us have to follow the rules of the pandemic, but Jews are exempt from that? I don't get that. And if it's a religious aspect, why can't I place the same religious aspect upon my faith as a Christian or a Muslim or any other religion I choose? Why is theirs the only ones that's respected, but nobody asks or nobody questions it? But then you'll stop me from coming in a store because I don't have a mask on? It's quite interesting to me right now. See, let's bust that myth because there's two Jews with their masks on, so it has nothing to do. You were wrong, buddy. Has nothing to do with religious belief. Because we just saw two Jews with a mask on, so that's bullshit. Out of the 900 Jews we've seen today, we've found two with a mask on. I don't know. They might put some Jewish voodoo on us. Ezekiel Lopez, peace, peace. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. Feminine energy ascending, peace, queen, peace, peace, peace. Qualities uniting, essential earth nurturing. Yes. See, now we got more. We got some more with masks on. So I guess there's a small minority that actually believed it, I guess. But as we can see, the very large majority doesn't. Very large majority. Peace, brother. Tribe G. Peace, peace. Yeah, I really admire how they live in their own world and they're not bothered. It's very admirable. That's what comes with the power of concentration of a faith. It makes you very powerful and confident within your own existence to where you don't have to bother other people. Why are you here? Why are you walking down my block? Well, you don't have to do that. Which is actually a form of insecurity. Anyway. Honestly, man, I wanna walk until we hit the fucking ocean or something, bro. I'm very much energetic in that today. Talk to me, family. What's going on, y'all? Hey, man, y'all had a long Saturday night, huh? That's true. Probably is still going. I like this walk. It's a good walk. Hmm? No, I said walk. Oh, walk. Oh, see, she's got to go again. There she goes. Back to work. Feminine energy. I'm telling you, she works too hard. Peace, family. Peace. That was a good question you had, man. I like questions like that because if you notice, they just attach. It's just like the not example, the explanation never ends. When it comes to like good questions, truth, and understanding the explanation, it can go on forever because it synchronizes with all realities. What would this be technically? This isn't Red Hook. I wouldn't know either. We have no idea. We've just walked so long in Brooklyn that it went from black to Khazarian. I'm sure you're right though. Just think of whatever Jewish Brooklyn neighborhood. Oh, she's back. There she goes. Talk to me, feminine. This way? Don't want to get lost in Khazarian land.
Listen, I would love to find a congregation. Maybe you change a couple rules.
I'm telling you that I'm really, because that's some fucked up shit, man. You got the world in fear, but Jews are not, and they're exempt from the rules. Why? Like that's some That's not cool at all. Speak to me, family. Speak to me, family. Drop a chisel, brother, so we can get another gem. pound the chisel, brother, so we can find some more gems. Oh, is this? Hey, Max, not really a question, but the sky seems so light and night now, like something. So light and night. I don't even understand that one. Pardon me, y'all. I was looking at my bottom notification thing, and I guess it's supposed to be questions for when you do a live. So somebody was asking about the light sky. I'm not even really sure what it was. I heard something is happening on December 21st. Something is happening. I'm sure you're referring to some type of astrological event or some planetary alignment or something of that sort. As some of y'all might already know, Mayan Ascension really doesn't care about any of that stuff. It's funny too because I actually have a astrological book in my hand that I'm actually reading right now, but in actuality, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying there's no truth. I'm not saying that it's not a science, but at the end of the day, to me, in my personal ideology, lifestyle, mind is all. So the more we pay attention to whether Venus is in the house of Jupiter and all of this different perspectives, we're actually creating the, how would you say, design and template that governs our life by focusing our attention on it. When I hear all these people talk about this retrograde concept, and by the way, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but we're talking about energy. Most of the time, it's a feminine energy. Like women are deep into astrology. Feminine men love astrology. It's a feminine energy. So I'm not trying to say anybody's gay or nothing like that, but if you pay attention to those who are like addicted or obsessed with astrology, they're very feminine. They have a feminine energy. So,
To be honest with you, even just the concept of thought, in my opinion, and I'm sure you can agree with me on this, that, of course, all of that is science. I'm sure it has some kind of effect. Of course, the mind is the most powerful thing and it has the greatest effect. But, personally, I just don't like dealing in things that I can't have a direct active or immediate, cause on it. These are things that are above us, like beyond the atmosphere. It's not like I can go change Venus and move it from one.
you know what it's like? It's
so
like
why even worry about it if I can't do nothing about it. You know what I mean?
it's like the people that live in the world right now who are completely unaware that there's a pandemic. Is the pandemic affecting them? We're walking in Khazarian land right now, and nobody seems affected whatsoever by the pandemic. So what I'm saying by using that example is, if you focus on astrology, if astrology becomes your form of guide in life, then it will affect the directions you go in life because you put attention upon it. Now, once again, I'm not taking nothing away from it, but I'm just saying that if I know mind is all, then I know it's technically the concentration of the mental capacity of numerous millions to billions of beings upon a living planet that actually create a cause and effect to the alignment of other planets and other energies outside of that field. So your concentration of thinking as a concentration of beings, as a concentration of units of light and units of energy that you call the human body with the solar plex can actually affect the sun's flares. You can actually affect the frequency of the planet, just like the planet can affect the frequency of yourself. just like we discussed earlier with the different regions of the planet creating or having a contribution to the civilizations that were built upon that specific region of that planet due to the crystallized structure under the ground, due to the electromagnetic frequency emitted from that specific side of the earth or that specific region of the earth. All these things have to be taken in consideration. But at the same time, your own energy as a light being yourself affects everything else. So if I gather millions to billions of people to sit there and focus on the planet Mars, then the planet Mars actually begins to govern our lives. You see? So everything has a correlation within a form of polarity. What controls you, you have the ability to control just like it controls you as well. But if you're unaware of your ability to control it, then now you're being controlled. But if you're aware of your ability to control it, now you can control it.
Yeah, as soon as you're aware of it, you automatically assume a level of control over it.
Yes, and
The minute you're aware of it.
as soon as you bring recognition to a situation or an energy, immediately you change the frequency. Which is another chapter in the book.
Are we making these up as we go, or you already kind of wrote these out?
No, they're already recorded.
Okay, all right.
They're already recorded.
Okay.
Just gotta
Just want to do it into like, okay.
transform. No.
Oh,
Just
cool.
gotta.
That's fine.
I'm saying them from they already been pre-recorded.
Gotcha. And you know what? If there's one thing I can connect to that, and I think we went into this as far as, or even when we talk about astrology as far as zodiac and blah blah blah, we really talk about the four elements and fire, earth, and water. And the way I see it is the different ratios of these elements in specific people. And
Yes.
if you want,
Yes.
you could even say like these elements are as the typical characteristics you associate with an element being divided into three different versions, which of course if we use an example like fire, we talk about
Sorry. No. It looked like a nice piece of furniture.
it is.
I just like tangible. I like tangible things. That's all. Go on, brother. I'm listening.
Yes, sir. But for example, the element of fire, you got your Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. These are three fire signs.
Yes.
Now, of course, you can literally, instead of looking at them as you give them these titles and so on and so forth, but realistically speaking, we talk about fire in three different characteristics. You got the fire of violence, using fire for violence. The Aries.
Okay.
Aries known as the most violent and the most combative.
Okay.
Of all fire signs.
All right.
Then you got Sagittarius, which is the soul or the soul searcher, the person who's always gathering knowledge, because you as the term that we usually call it, what's the term you always use? Seeking the light. The student always seeking the light, something like that.
Oh, one who seeks the light goes directly to the flame. Yeah,
See?
absolutely.
That's
Great correlation.
And then Leo, of course, fire. You know, fire is an emitting of heat and light, and so much that you have to give it attention. You see what I'm saying? You can't just not pay attention to it. That's what the Leo is, because Leo is literally the embodiment of the sun. That's why everything seems to revolve around it. That's three different characteristics of the element of fire. You see what I'm saying? Divide it into three different things. But if you want, of course, simplifying it is just to put them all back together and call it fire. You see what I'm saying?
Now, my brother Ezekiel Lopez asked, from your personal experience, what are you aware of that you correlate to planetary energy? Be honest with you, my brother, I never really placed any thought on it because once again, I don't look at astrology as in something that I allow to govern my life or to be a part of my study to some type of valuable perspective. If there's anything I correlate to, I'll be honest with you, I say it's the sun. I definitely say it's the sun because I have a personal relationship with the sun, and I also have a personal relationship with the flame. Some time ago, I made a post saying that the flame is my companion. So I have a strong I have a strong personal relationship with the flame, and I say that personally because I want to separate that from fire. Because I'm not saying I have a strong relationship with fire as if I'm a pyromaniac, but I have a companionship with the flame itself, with the single flame itself, with dancing with the flame embracing me. So the closest relationship I have dealing with any planetary aspect, even though we know that a star is not necessarily a planet, but it's still added into astrology anyway, I will have to say the sun. Majority of my journey over these last 10 plus years, I've been constantly sunbathing, sun gazing, and constantly studying the rays of Ra and so on and so forth. So my relationship is definitely with the sun. Oh, something, one more, 23. Peace. don't know if you male, female, peace, king, knowledge, understanding, noble guidance. It's another thing. Some of these names, you'll think that it's masculine or you'll think it's feminine as a guy. People make so many like arbitrary names, and then it confuses you a little bit.
It's funny we get into that because it's definitely a good.
Thank you for the question, by the way, Ezekiel. I appreciate that, brother. That was a good question, man. I wish I could have gave you more, not to cut you off. I wish I could have gave you more, brother, but like I said, astrology is definitely not my thing, but I do respect the study, and I do respect the science. But certain things I just don't put too much value or too much energy into it because it begins to govern you and then begins to limit you. So we got to be careful of what becomes our main and only focus. Your only focus should always be expansion. So that's why I have an astrology book in my hand, because I'll still play with astrology and study it, but I don't really care for it. So just because I don't care for something doesn't mean I limit myself to it. You see what I'm saying? I was just doing a consultation last night with a brother, and I told him, I said, listen, I'll fuck around and study dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Being a God and being a divine being is not rejecting anything, but acknowledging everything and understanding that everything is a lesson within itself, to be accumulated into equations, to recognize its design, to recognize its function, in order to know what it is and then move on to the next lesson. What makes us God is our knowingness, not our doubts, not our wondering. That's the human side. That's why I work so hard to know as much as I can. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all through an egotistical perspective, but I do know I cannot limit myself to anything on this physical reality, because that would make me limited within myself. So I have to study everything I possibly can to some extent in order to understand it. Once I understand it, then I can move on to the next subject. But once I get trapped into it and it becomes an obsession, see, my obsession is expansion. My obsession is not one subject. My obsession is not one nationality. My obsession is not one identity. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate the question, brother. Is detachment the key to higher ascension? Actually, that's a good question. Yeah. Yes, back to life. That's excellent. What you just said, learning for the purpose of learning. See, many people learn things so they can go back and talk some shit to somebody else. Many people study things so they can combat someone or debate someone. I just need to fucking know. And it's actually pure selfishness. I don't need to know to teach it. I need to know because I need to know for myself, and because I want to know every fucking thing I possibly can while I'm here. If the human brain has the physical capacity to store infinite, damn near infinite information, why the fuck are you not learning everything? While you're here, that's what you're here to do. So the human brain has the physical capacity to store so-called gigabytes to an almost infinite capacity. The human body has hundreds to thousands of different sensations and nerve endings. Why are you not here to feel everything? Why are you not here to learn anything? Why are you scared of pain? Why are you hiding from struggle? Why are you avoiding a conflict? Why are you avoiding this? Why are you avoiding that? Why are you hiding from this, hiding from that? Why are you shielding your child from hurt and all of this stuff? They need to feel those things in order to build a acceptance, embracement, and tolerance to the point where that pain becomes a power. And then they know how to actually transmute it. You know what it's like? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Black Panther in his vibranium suit, I believe. When somebody tries to shoot him with something, doesn't he absorb it? He absorbs the power and he throws it back at him. So if you try to inflict pain on me, you're going to make me more powerful. And I do it all the time. Every time I do little small things, sometimes maybe you're walking around the house, you're not paying attention, you stub your toe, you hit your arm or something. I'll be, yes, give me the power. I look crazy, like a crazy person. But I absorb the energy and I transform it into a power. And then immediately, if you notice when you start practicing that, the pain leaves you immediately. Like, I know this for a fact. The pain leaves immediately. And I've sliced my whole freaking finger open. I've had so many painful injuries that I've never went to the hospital for, by the way, because immediately after I transformed the pain into a power, immediately after that I healed myself. So I never had to go to the hospital for stitches or anything like that. But I've been through a lot of so-called physical pain in my life, and once again, when we change the perspective of how we look at a situation or a circumstance, I don't look at pain as a problem or hurt. I look at it as a form of initiation, because that cut, the blood that's shed, the pain that's felt, the bruise that rises to the surface, that is the mark of me passing an initiation within my cycle of life. I might not understand what it's for, but I do understand that it's not a mistake. I do understand it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that you didn't die in that car crash, but yet you went through the car crash. It's not a coincidence that, you know, when there was a shootout in your hood in front of the building, you were the one that didn't get shot, or excuse me, you were the one that got shot but didn't die, or whatever the case may be. These things are not coincidences. They're initiations for you to reach the next level. And sometimes when we don't take the initiation and embrace it as one, we repeat the initiation over and over again. So we're constantly getting stabbed, we're constantly getting shot until we finally realize that, hold the fuck up. This is telling me something to move from one cycle to the next. If we all experience pain, might as well learn to experience pain well. Yes. Excellent way to say that. Because we all experience pain. Because once again, what is pain? A perception of an energy. Because I can say something to a human that hurts that human's feelings, but it's just some regular shit I said. And now I can't believe you said that to me. I said, good morning, sir. But sir, you sound like you don't like me anymore. And why'd you say sir? You used to call me brother. That's their perception of being hurt. They're hurt now. But are they really hurt? What is pain? What is pain really? What is it? What is pain in itself? Electrical signals being sent to the brain from sensations that are concentrated on the body. If your brain's not working, you don't feel pain. So is pain real? But great point, brother. If we all feel pain, then let's feel it well. Is that what the brother said? Great quote. If we all experience pain, might as well learn to experience pain well. Great quote, brother. Black to life. Yeah, man. Once we start changing, huh?
Black to life. That's a word.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. If you know that, I don't know that per se.
Well,
My brother said you are of the feminine energy. Yeah, okay, yes, you sound my sis. Okay, all right. Appreciate that, Queen. Qualities uniting, essential earth nurturing. But absolutely, just imagine if we were raised to put perception, to put personal perception over physical reality since a child. And if we pay attention, how many times y'all that have children, nieces, and nephews have been teachers in school, how many times have you watched a child fall? And I mean fall hard. You heard the bang. And the first thing the child does is look around to see who's watching them. And when the child looks around and realizes that the mother is not running to their aid or making a painful face or making a crying face, you know, immediately the child doesn't cry. Or when you watch a child fall and you laugh at them and they start laughing, what is pain? But then you watch a child fall, he goes, oh, you okay? Oh, you're right. And then they go, ah, and the child starts screaming. What is pain? What is love? What is pleasure? What is hurt? Had a young lady in my DM asking me if I was hurt from a specific situation. I told her, no, I recognize who is what. I recognize who does what. But I embrace my function and my purpose. So if my purpose was to come in your life for a short time in order to change something, in order to contribute something, in order to spark or activate something, and then you leave out of my life or you choose to just leave, pick up and leave, then hey, I recognize that in you. I recognize what you are and I recognize what you're not, but I don't feel hurt from it because I've long since embraced my function as a divine tool as man. Now, woman, you're not a tool. So this doesn't mean as a woman you shouldn't embrace, for lack of a better word, I don't want to use that word because that's a bad word, but loss and heartache and so on and so forth. But you recognize it as an energy first. Once you recognize it as an energy, allow yourself to dwell in it if you really need to. Because sometimes y'all need to dwell in the energy. You really do. Because that's what being a conduit in a magnet is about. You have to be the energy. And that's what women do. They become the energy. The problem is you dwell in it for so long, you block off all the other energies that you're supposed to be feeling. Because yes, you're supposed to feel sadness, but you're also supposed to feel joy. So if you're dwelling in sadness, you're blocking off joy. And then you become a hard rock. You become the ice instead of the flowing water. That's the difference. And then it stops you from being a conduit, and then you begin to lose your intuition. Because your intuitive ability as the feminine energy comes from you being a physical conduit. That's why you see things and feel things before they happen. Because the energy has reached you long before the actual circumstance or the actual physical object. Especially as an organic structure with a resonance. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, we were talking about just talking about how when you accumulate knowledge, you feel selfish.
Yes.
And I want to explain to somebody that selfishness has to come before selflessness. And to put it in simple example, you can't pour nobody's cup if you don't have something to pour from. So that's a simple example, but that's a fact.
Selfishness has to come from selflessness.
Absolutely.
All right, I like that.
Selflessness comes out of selfishness.
Oh, selflessness comes out of selfishness.
Right, because selfishness is first. That comes first. And of course, in correlation, selfishness is the feminine, which comes before the masculine, which is the selflessness. You know what I'm saying?
Almost like the sacrifice of a woman's pain and body giving birth. Because every woman knows that they're going to have to go through pain. But they embrace that pain to bring forth that life. I don't think anybody's naive in any existence to know that squeezing a human being through your body is going to have some pain with it. Which, by the way, is the masculine force that brings forth the child. Yes. It's the masculine force that brings forth the child. It's the feminine force that actually fashions the child in the womb. That magnetizes all the essences together into what you refer to as a fetus, or all of these different terms. I struggle with expressing feminine emotions, but affirmations help deeply. Shout out to Black Light Order. All right.
She's in my
all right.
have exchanges a lot, so.
Good. That's a beautiful thing. You see, tools are to be used. If you a goddamn man and you got a problem being used, then you might as well be useless. Tools are to be used. We are divine tools.
And she knows, because I've already expressed to her many times that, you know, the fact that you come off as emotionless is the fact that you also come off as pretty much efficient. This is why people come to you.
Yes.
You suppress your emotions in order to cater to theirs. And so your true way to be able to relieve yourself of that obligation, that burden, because that's really all it is. That's all effort that you have to put in to cater to these people. If you want to release that to be truly in your feminine, you have to feel.
Yes.
You gotta express. You gotta cry.
Water is absorbent. Water holds memory. Water is a conductor. But once you cut off the emotions that allow water to flow, you become a block of ice. And guess what? What's the only way to turn ice into water? You gotta burn the shit out of it and melt it until it starts to become water again. All right, y'all. I'm gonna start another live though.